Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house. Well, what a day we got! We were down and now we're back up. Volatility, and yeah, nice little green candles to start the live stream. You got to like that. A big red heart there from DGN Hexkin. Hey Superman, hey, great to see you, DGN. Welcome. Yeah, we're gonna have a fun show. Of course, we're gonna talk about the Bitcoin and ETH pump that's currently on at the moment. Obviously, Pulsechain starting to battle through that 4 zeros. Losing that fifth zero again. So really battling that 4 zeros one. It's been quite up and down, but we're getting there, I think. And that means, we can move to a higher level. So it's kind of cool. We're going to be looking at, obviously, the stock market, a little bit of the economic news, a little bit of the Iran war and how that's impacting oil, a little bit of course, the crypto majors. We're going to look at Bitcoin in particular. And we're going to touch on Ethereum as well to some degree. We're going to be looking at the digital asset treasuries and some of the preferred stock and how that's playing a big role in where Bitcoin's heading. We're obviously going to cover Pulsechain. I think we're on day, 1036 or something. We're going to have a little reminder of Richard Hart and ApproveX and have a look at where the markets are in the top 100 as well for the old Pulsechain. So it's going to be a little bit of something for everybody, I think. There's a little bit of something for everybody. And don't forget, of course, to let's do the socials. If you're on YouTube right now, just take a moment to smash the subscribe button on the way in. It doesn't cost you anything to do that and helps with the algorithms. So we're streaming on the Crypto Night Show, Pulsechain, X, and Superman Crypto, 3 YouTube channels. Also, if you're on X, don't forget to smash the follow button. So that would be really cool. Follow button just at the top of the X profile. And smash that. We're only 20 away, guys, from 1,500. So we're rebuilding. My old channel had like 6,500. Probably would have had like 12 to 15,000 by now. But this is the way it goes. They took it down for no reason. But that's what we do here. We build back. We're strong, right? Always a cup half full in life. That will get you a long way, right? Cup half full in life. Never a cup half empty. Don't be that half empty guy. And always cup half full, right? That's the play. All right. Also, if you haven't joined Strategy Club, let's jump over into the view and let's have a look at the social media. So if you haven't joined Strategy Club, well worth considering. We've got the QR code just below me there, and also the links in the video description pinned to the top of X. You can join up the Strategy Club. Just over $1 a day. You get constant intel flowing through there. So as I'm researching, as I'm looking at the market, I'm posting in all the research in there, as well as some pretty good targets that are going to do pretty well in this bull market ahead of us, right? So this is a 10-year play, but we're particularly excited about the next 12 to 24 months, right? So very, very exciting stuff there. So join up the Strategy Club. See you there. All right. What else can we say? I think that's it. Let's get into the stock market news. See how we got over for the Thursday US time. We have the total. Actually, we're going to stock market first, aren't we? We had US stock futures edge higher after Iran jitters sparked deep losses. Now, I believe one of the tankers was hit by possibly a drone or something, one of the tankers there, so that caused more alarm with the oil market. Obviously, the couple of things are happening with the Trump administration around insurance, around escorting, maritime escorts, around the Fifth Fleet in particular, probably be the one that's going to take over that the Strait of Hormuz and give that military defense against drones and missiles and things, and also alternative supply routes through the Saudi pipeline that takes a percentage. I think it's like 5% or something. So you got that happening. You've obviously got G7 and other oil releases to flood the market with oil and keep things going. Obviously, there's a process with oil goes through the world. There's a certain that can be held up. And then the other side of it is, of course, because most of the hardware has been destroyed and will be destroyed within probably the next week, they are largely starting to target the army now, right? So the RGC army, and these are people that may, be sitting on the coast there trying to fire at, oil ships. And so they've been targeting a lot of those stop areas, where there's, cars have to stop because there's, gun posts and things like that. So they're actually blowing those up, killing a lot of soldiers and making fear happen, right? Fear is an important thing. And so they're really starting to hit that, and they can do a lot of damage with that. I mean, believe it. If you imagine you having a lot of different stop areas along the coast, for example, you can really start taking all those out, and no one's going to want to start, asking for, passports or something or whatever else they're doing there, right, to control the revolution. They don't want a revolution. So that's the next phase, right, is to intimidate the army, destroy the army, and make it so that the people can rise up. So that's kind of the possibly some of the play. Now we need to know that there's kind of a window that the Trump administration want to do. So they're going hard, right? They're going really, really strong, and they're just continuing to wipe everything out pretty much, except for civilian stuff. And they're trying to avoid oil installations after the Israel bomb one. So that's kind of the play at the moment, based on what I see. So we've still got, I'm still expecting that to go for at least a week because there's lots of things in terms of the army and the remaining rockets and things like that. Remember, there's a lot of tunnels. So they've got ships in the actual ships in the tunnels, airplanes in the tunnels, rockets in the tunnels, drones in the tunnels. So they've got to really hunt all those tunnels, right? They have a lot of informants on the ground. Obviously, they've been doing this for a long time, so they have a good idea what a lot of those are. So we're expecting pretty productive stuff to happen there. All right, so that's kind of the play with the oil stuff. So we're still going to have that volatility. We got the Dow Jones overnight down about 1.5%, down 740 points to 46,677. S&P 500 down 1.5% to 103 points to 6,672. NASDAQ down 1.8%, 404 points to 22,300. So those are the main indexes there in the US. And if we have a look at the little chart there over the month, let's say, we can see the Dow Jones has gone down, let's argue it's gone down from about 50,000 all the way down to 46,700. So it's down about 3,300 points around that mark over the last month. S&P 500, I guess not even at the beginning of the month, but closer to the middle of the month, it's just below 7,000. It is now at 6,670. So it's down about, 200, maybe not even that, 180 points, or actually probably 250 points or so, something like that. So that'd be 8, 9, yeah, it's about 250 points on the S&P 500. NASDAQ, sort of peaked out mid-month at around 23,000. That's at 22,300. So that's down about 700-800 points. So that's actually not too bad. And if we look at the last 6 months, we can see, we were up all the way up at 23,800, and we're now at 22,300. So we're down about 1,500 points from the top there, back in January. And that gives a little bit of a reprieve as well for the tech stocks, which were getting overheated with the AI. AI is going to continue to deliver. As well as all the other technologies that are all converging. We've got a major convergence. It really is the fourth industrial revolution. We've got the age of intelligence, as they call it, and we've got all these technologies converging, right? Software, chip power, quantum type of chip power, software, robotics, so where the software and the physical world meet together, and we're moving into that sort of space age type of early, I would say, space age type of technology. So pretty cool, as well as power, right? Power as well. We've got sitting a lot of announcements in power. All right, so that's kind of at the moment. The US dollar at the moment, 99.6, so fairly decent there. Looks like Russia's going to capitulate too from using BRICS and going to start settling with the US dollar. So that's a big development that we're seeing happening with Trump after the call with Putin. So we'll keep a eye on that. Doing a deal with some players in the world can be a bit tricky. Let's go to the commodities. We got West Tex at the moment at $95. So back, dropped dramatically back below $100. So that's kind of cool. We were way up here a week ago on the 9th, up at $115, $120 for West Texas. We're now at 95. So that's sort of subsiding again. The last month, where we want to get back to, about $65, right? So still got a $30 premium. So that's still pretty big. All right, so still about 50%. And the Brent oil there, we've got $100 at the moment, so still holding pretty elevated. We were up, like I say, around 115, 120 back on the 9th. We came all the way back down to 86. We're back up at 100 with the shipping it and stuff like that. So obviously Trump and the Fifth Fleet and CENTCOM are going to want to try and really take over the Strait of Hormuz, and they've trained for that. So it's not like they don't know how to process that. They also, one thing they can do is also take the island that Iran has that is basically their cash cow, right? So they take that over. They might take it over to special forces, and that's basically the cash for the regime. And I suspect that that's a very big chance they may do that, right? So keep a lookout for that. What else? So gold at the moment, $5,120. And we got silver there at $85 at the moment. So there's gold and silver. Now gold, I just want to have a quick look at gold. Gold there over the last week, we were up at about 5,236. We're down, about $110 from there. We definitely went down pretty dramatic overnight. You can see that there. We're up at, almost $5,200. Came all the way down to 5,085. So a really big retrace there in gold. Positive for crypto, I think, if there's any rotation. So that could be pretty cool too. So that's some of the stuff that's going on right now. Just having a look down the news story there. Trump is also, demanding immediate Fed rate cuts. We've got the PCE. Remember, we had CPI on Wednesday. Friday, we got the PCE data. So it's the main data that the Fed looks at. And so that's due for Friday. That's going to be pretty interesting. If that is equal, or if it's equal, then the market's not going to really do much because, the market's already expecting a no change in the Fed meeting coming up in 6 days. But if it's below, then it could give a lot more pressure to presidents trying to get it to go down. Now, in this article, because it's written by a liberal leftist, investment.com, they kind of say, we don't know why Trump's doing it. Well, it's pretty obvious. Trump's been saying for ages, and it's the same argument that I have, and that is that we should be getting rates down to at least a 1-to-1 rate, which would be down to at least 3%, and we're still up at 3.75. So we're too high for too long. Remember, this is the same Fed that was too late and then was too aggressive and too high. And so they're dampening down the GDP and also contributing to inflation and making it really hard for householders, right? So that's the key thing. But despite that, Trump's managed to get some interest rates down as well. I think the 30-year rate under 6%, is it? Something like that. So that's that. Let's have a look at the economic monitor here quickly before we move on to crypto. We've got like I say, tomorrow on the economic calendar, we've got tomorrow we got the core PCE data. We are expecting 3.1%. Last month was 3%. So if we get 3.1% or lower, that's good news from the market. 3.1, no change, but below the 3.1, even especially if it was below 3%, that would be really cool. We saw that the CPI number came in pretty much flat. So yeah, let's see how we go on that. Remember, CPI came in here 2.4%, and the forecast was 2.4%. Last month was 2.4. So the PCE data is a much more broader indicator, even with core inflation, and this is the preferred gauge of the Fed. So we can beat out 3.1. That'd be really cool. And look, we've got the rates. We get 3%, another 3% or something. Why the heck do we have rates up at 3.75 on the federal funds rate? It should be closer to 1-to-1, right? That's a good rule of thumb there. Now, talking about that, let's have a look at the Fed rate monitor quickly. This will be our last thing. 5 days and 16 hours to go until the next meeting on the 18th of March, I should say, 2 p.m. Eastern. We've still got 98.3% of the market expecting a no change. So there we go. I'm with Trump on this one. And it's going to pay its price. In fact, it's even worse. Look, April, the market's still expecting a no change. June, the market expecting, maybe 24% expecting a change there. And I do think that that's going to probably be pulled up forward. Well, certainly that PCE data tomorrow should contribute to that. We also saw a weak labour market, right? So that contributes as well. Lost 75 jobs last month. Now, the thing about this is that, Chairman Powell is a Democrat, and these guys are also bad at what they do. They're bad at economics and bad at everything else, right? We've had to put up with them. I say this again. We've had to put up with these liberals and progressives, particularly liberals, for a couple of decades, doing terrible policies on the geopolitical front as well as economically, indebting all the people in the West and destroying our society. So it hasn't been cool. Finally, after many decades, I can tell you, watching this decade after decade, to have Trump come in and do common sense is just fantastic. And we're all happy about it. So it's pretty cool. Have we got Crypto League in the house there? CL in the house. Andy Lynn hinted hugely about Pulsechain on tweet. Nice. Okay, we're going to go check that out, Crypto League. Fat Sammy says, hi all. Good to see you, Fat Sammy. Welcome to the chat. And if you haven't checked out Fat Sammy, definitely do. It does some great TA and commentary in the community. So big shout out there to Fat Sammy. All right. So that is where we are right now with the economic data. So let's fingers crossed on that inflation data tomorrow. And that it contributes, that it's at least slightly less than expectations. That's a really good thing. Puts more pressure on the Fed. By July, remember, we'll have a new Fed chair, and so it will really, second half of the year is really going to be beautiful. I would suggest for the interest rates, and we'll get that pulled down, I'm sure. Probably get a 50 basis point cut. Who knows? We'll see. Total crypto at the moment. So crypto there bouncing. Let me do the refresh here because you know the API on the old CoinGecko can be get a bit stuck. But you know, we were showing a real defense here, but we're up 2.4%, guys, on the total crypto market cap on CoinGecko. There's 18,200 coins there. We've got the market cap at 2.5 trillion. And as you guys know, it's super small. If gold's around 40 trillion or so, you know, we've got a long way to go. All right, to get up to there, even half of that, you know. Let's say go up to 25, I mean, it's a 10x and 25 trill. So we've got a lot of re-rate going on in crypto, guys. So everyone, you're all here early. Make sure you get your quality assets and up and away, right? So another good reason to join Strategy Club as well. So smash that QR code and join up, and see you today. What else there? We got Bitcoin at the moment is up 2.4%. So nice little move there. 71,627. We were struggling overnight again with the volatility to get back over 70, and stay over 70. We went below and then we dropped back up. And now we're just powered up to 71,600. So it's pretty cool. Ethereum at the moment up 3.7%. Likewise, similar story, but was sort of defending over 2,000, a little bit stronger than Bitcoin in some ways, and that's now at 21.25. So pretty cool. BNB is at number 4 at 1.7%, $660. XRP up 2.5% at $1.40. Now remember, MasterCard making the big partnerships in crypto. Very smart move from these payment rails to get on board. Otherwise, they're going to probably get their lunch eaten by the old DeFi. And that has been some good news there as well for both Solana as well, getting a pickups of Solana and XRP, getting support there from the MasterCard partnerships there. And Solana's up 4.4% at $90.14. Tron is down 0.1%, 29 cents, and Figure Alloc, they're sitting at $1. That's down a bit, isn't it? Because it was been up at like $4 or so. That's down 1.8%. And number 10 is Doge, up 4.8% at 97 cents. Now, Doge obviously will win from X Money, right? X Money wallet. That is going to be rapidly rolled out based on Elon Musk comments over the last couple of days. And so, yeah, Dogecoin there. It's going to be fiat straight off the gate. It's going to be opening to public access within about a month, and 2 months probably global access, not just US access. And then crypto is going to be coming pretty closely behind that, right? So keep a lookout for that. I think that's a pretty ramp up there. And so what we're going to see is a couple new competitors vying for the banking system, essentially, or extended wallet system for in the world, right? So we're going to have a shift of power, and so X-Money is definitely going to be a key player with 1 billion, unique viewers every month. But we also know that Bitmine Immersion is partnered with Mr. Beast. They recently bought an app called Leap. They're doing their own app, and they're going after the Generation Z, Generation Alpha, and to some extent the millennials to provide banking services for them. So you can see there's a couple of games going on here, guys, and a big shift in power, big shift in money. And if you're invested in some of those, boy, you're going to win big, aren't you? So this is why you need to do your research, why you need to be up, really looking at the big picture as well as narrowing down on the quality assets. And that's something we do in Strategy Club. So get in there today. That's pretty much where we are right now on the top 10. Best performer overnight, of course, is Doge, up 4.8%. Over the last week, the best performer is still Doge, up 3.5% because of today's performance. But overall, Bitcoin's up 1% for the week, and Ethereum up 2.5%. And we've got the geopolitical risk of Iran, being dealt with. Now, obviously, the big risk there is the nuclear, having terrorist, radical ayatollahs there with nuclear bombs, and getting rid of that risk is worth it all, guys. It's worth it all because we don't need a nuclear bomb going off here and there in the future, right? And remember, they do it like terrorists. They don't do it like nation states. They let somebody else, they give it to somebody else, and they go and push it off a ship and push it into LA or something, right? That's how it will be done. So we don't need any of that. So it's better to get rid of it once and for all. All right. So that's kind of where we are right now with the old cryptos. And let's go over to the top 100 gainers, and we can see that Pi Network is up 41%. Now, Pi Network is getting on Kraken Exchange. I'm not a big fan of Pi Network, of course, It's a pretty dog's breakfast there with mining since 7 years almost. They've got Pi Day coming up. Pi Day today. Pi Day tomorrow. No, well, it's not tomorrow because Pi Day US Day is in 2 days' time, right? So Pi Day. So it'll be 7 years since Pi Network there, one of the early phone mining apps, but it's heavily KYC'd, and they have hardly given any of their tokens out there. You can turn off the having forced to watch ads, but you have to reset that every 2 weeks. So a bit of a dog's breakfast. But this is crypto. They're building a corporate KYC. So if you're interested in KYC type of projects, then this is building up a network. So it's hard to deny that. As bad as it is, and a lot of people not getting tokens. A lot of people don't qualify for tokens. All that good bad stuff. So we'll see where that all heads with the old Pi network. But it is up 41% today. Hyperliquid, on the other hand, is doing extremely well and dominating, up 24%. And of course, that's benefiting. We saw that with the oil price because Wall Street market, TradeFi can't get access to trading oil 24/7. They could do it on Hyperliquid, right? So Hyperliquid picked up a lot of that optionality. So you're trading off when you're on traditional stuff. You're trading off custodial safety for optionality, and people are always going to go for optionality when you got extreme risk, right? So Hyperliquid picked up a lot of that volume, and so that's eating more of the lunch from Wall Street, right? So Hyperliquid doing pretty well there too. Render at the moment up 23%, but Tensor Tau up 22%, and Justice managed to move up here. It's sitting at number 100 now, so it's gotten the top 100 and is up 11% for the week. So those are kind of the ones that have been doing pretty well there right now. You can also see a couple of meme coin type protocols down there as well. All right, so let's jump over to the top 1,000. We've got Unif AI Network, Evelyn, and Pi Network there trending in the top 1,000. We've got trending overall Pi Network, Palladium Network, and Tensor there, top 3 there. All right, so that is pretty much it. We're up 2.4, guys. Percent. Let's zoom in on the old Bitcoin. We can see Bitcoin at the moment is at $71,590. What a nice little move. And we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days green. So, hey, look, it did get sold off, and it wasn't really the so-called store of value, but that's because digital money was being pushed down, and Bitcoin is still digital money. And gold was taking the shining, but now gold is sold off a little bit, down $125, as we said, and now Bitcoin is starting to get a bit more favor again. So the fear is over, and apparently Bitcoin is more favorable. But we've got more fundamental things happening behind Bitcoin than just sentiment, and that is pretty awesome. So let's talk about that. We've got the currently 200-day moving average, is currently 88,000. So that's all the way up here, 88,155. The 50-day moving average is sitting at 72,868. We're only just below that, right? So we're getting back up over that 50. Very, very psychological point there. Very, very cool. So not bad there, not bad at all. Now, I haven't got the 21 moving average on here. We should probably put that on there, and I'll probably do that in the future. But that is pretty cool. In fact, should we do it now? Let's do it now. Let's do it live. Do it live. I hate doing stuff live. Everyone does live streams. You hate doing things live. I try. I can't do more than 2 indicators because I haven't got the access on it yet at the moment. Maybe I should do that. Fat Sammy says, yeah, I know. I do it live. I don't do it live. Morning all. We've got Craig in the house there. Big hi from Fat Sammy to Craig. And we've also got Sean O'Malley up only 369. Good to see you, Sean. I noticed you added the 369 now to your up only there. You're expanding your reach. All right, so we got Bitcoin looking pretty good 5 days in a row, guys. So looking good there. And one of the key drivers, and this is something try to increase the awareness of, is something special is happening around Bitcoin. Something that Michael Saylor has talked about since I think 2024, and that was a big buyer buying more than the miners are mining, and not just more, but a hell of a lot more. A hell of a lot more, isn't it? Fat Sammy says would be fantastic if we can break 73K. It certainly would be. Currently 71.5 there. We've had a high today so far of 72. So not too far from that. And to get to that 50-day moving average is 72,867. So 73 would be just above that. That'd be a great move, wouldn't it, Fat Sammy? But let's have a look at some of the key drivers here. This is some of the secret sauce, and being aware this is really important. But we've got obviously strategy, which is the biggest digital asset treasury, number one DAT, and it shocked everybody. Last week on the 9th of March, it announced its weekly purchases, and it was at just below 18,000 Bitcoin. Can you believe it? 18,000, unbelievable. That was a huge jump because previously they did 3,000, 600, 2,500, 1,100, 855. I mean, really, last time they had a big purchase was the 20th of January. That was 22,000. But I think we're getting ready for something special because the strategy is really uplifted. So two main ways that that strategy has been raising capital. One is MSTR, their main stock, right? And they've been able to issue shares whenever the MNAV, because MNAV is positive. It's been about 1.2 at the moment. So it's positive over 1-to-1 ratio for the the net asset value of the Bitcoin holding. They hold about 738,000 Bitcoin. You can see that here with this last update. But they are buying more. They are buying more, right? The other one that is causing the stir is causing the store is stir. I don't want that. Man, you start messing it up, and before you know it, you're in an infinite loop. We got STRC. STRC at the moment. Stretch is the magic source. So this is changing the game, guys. And from 2 years ago, Mike started talking about this big whale just constantly buying Bitcoin. Well, we've got it happening. So let's go over to what's happening here. Well, just today, guys, just think about this. It's mind-boggling. Think about this. But they raised enough money with this Stretch preferred as a preferred stock. It's competing. I say competing, but it's not really. It's competing with the money market, bond markets, and private credit markets, and it is a joke, right? So if you're getting up to 3 to 7% in those money market, bond markets, sort of private credit markets, and the risk factors with those, well, here you're getting 11%. 11%, guys. So it's just going to suck vampire all the money out of these markets over in TradeFi, which are hundreds of trillions of dollars, and it's just going to vampire all that into Bitcoin, and it's a Bitcoin buying engine, right? So every time they have a more than $100 price, they're able to raise capital, right? And they end up buying Bitcoin. So they raised 300 million just in the last 24 hours. 24 hours. This is the last day. $307 million they raised to go and buy Bitcoin, and so that's equivalent to 4,380 Bitcoin. That's in addition to if they decide to use the at the market or ATM for STR. It is crazy. It's crazy for using strategy shares. So if they're combining these two, then you're talking some pretty big numbers. So let's speculate on those numbers because obviously we're going to get another update. We had our last update on the 9th, so we're getting the next update, I guess, on the 16th or so. So it's about 3 or 4 days away. But let's have a little extrapolation here. And so Adam Livingston has done that. He goes, this is insane. Strategy raises $1 billion in a single day with STR, Stretch, their preferred stock, MSTR, their normal stock. And they go, right now we're looking at an estimated 4,322 Bitcoin acquired today. Well, we know that that's slightly higher, right? It's 4,380 acquired today. And that is if they capture only 42% of the volume over $100. Well, they've captured 42% of the volume over $100, which is pretty cool. That is over $300 million from a Stretch in one trading session. It's a crazy. And this has all just started ramping up, in the last week or so. It's crazy stuff, guys. And so, pretty awesome stuff. Now, this is almost 10 times. Just this alone, this 4,380 is almost 10 times the amount of Bitcoin mined today. So the Bitcoin mined today, about 450 Bitcoin. This is close to almost 10 times. Can you sit back and think about that? This is game-changing stuff. This is absolutely crazy stuff, is it not? You got Bitcoin mine. Oh, Bitcoin mine are going to dump all the coins. They don't always dump all the coins. Some of them hodl them. And of course, we know there's a lot of competition in mining Bitcoin with the machines and with getting energy. Energy is always the ultimate, right? Can you get close to zero energy? Can you use the sun? Can you use hydro? All that sort of stuff. This is a game changer, guys. 10 times just in a day. It's crazy stuff. And this thing just seems like it's just ramping up because how on earth is traditional finance in the money market, bond market, and private credit market how are they going to compete with 11%? You know, how are they going to compete? Now, obviously, the market, the yield can adjust, you know, depending on whether we're over $100, under $100 par value. But man, that's the mechanism that helps generate some huge money. Now, is this going to start moving into the billions of dollars? I mean, think about it. You're tapping into hundreds of trillions of dollar markets offering superior yield. And you're all on the back of Bitcoin as the collateral. It's mind-boggling. So it really is crazy stuff. So yeah, this has been incredible. So how's this going to evolve? We'll keep watching day after day and week after week. But if you add this up, let's go into the rest of the insights here. It says now with raising this kind of money, strategy can do one of two things: hit the MSTR, so their normal stock, as well as keep Bitcoin application depressed and buy more Bitcoin, or they can lay off the ATM at the market. That means and increase the Bitcoin application behind your MSTR shares using last week's MSTR STR issuance ratio. So that's based on what we got last week with this 18,000 buy, right? If they did the same today, that is 727 million raised just from MSTR, from the normal shares, issuing normal shares in one trading session. So if we add up this 303 million, which is actually higher, right? So what do we get there? 307, slightly higher there. So we add 300 million or 307 million plus this estimate, this ratio estimate, that's another 7. That's $1 billion in one day. $1 billion in one day, guys. So think about it. Annualize that. Monthetize that. I don't know if that's the word, but that'd be 30 days. That's $30 billion of buy pressure. I mean, like it's getting some insane stuff, right? Getting some insane stuff, and that's equivalent. That's equivalent. I mean, if Bitcoin stayed the same price, obviously it's gonna be forced up, but that'd be equivalent to buying like 440,000 Bitcoin. And if we remember that they've already got 738, they're heading towards 1 million. Now they've got this money machine, this money grinder, vampiring, the money and bond markets and private credit. That would get them over 1 million in no time. Within them, I mean, people talking about maybe this year optimism, but man, it could have happened in a month potentially. I mean, but the buy pressure on Bitcoin is going to be a lot, right? So got other moving variables there. So yeah, it is pretty crazy stuff, guys. Pretty crazy. Remember, the average price too for strategy is $75,860, and we've got Bitcoin at the moment, 71,325. And we've got this damn machine, this new damn money printer, buying up all this Bitcoin. And potentially, if they do, like I say, they may very well turn off the MSTR for a little bit. We'll see how that all goes. So it is some pretty special things happening right now, guys. So it's something I don't want you guys to miss out on. If you haven't seen it already, it is pretty crazy there. So billion with AB. This is the biggest story in finance, and the world is still asleep. But you guys are not asleep. If you hadn't seen this before, you're now awake, right? You're now awake to what's going on here. It is pretty powerful. It would be a shame if everybody found out about this and how you can make that 11.5%. So not only is this powerful for Bitcoin and for strategy, but it's also powerful for if you want to earn a high yield. Imagine if you are sitting on a good amount of cash, you got a good broker, and you can buy this. This is paid out monthly too, by the way. And imagine earning that yield rather than having your money sitting in a bank. Earning, I don't know, 2-3%, even like money market bonds, and maybe 3-4%, 5%, and then private credit, maybe 6-7% with the risks that go with that. Instead, you can just sit on the back of Bitcoin's rise and get 11.5%, right? Because really, this is what this is doing. It's taking this capital, buying more Bitcoin, pushing Bitcoin price up, and it's giving you part of that expected yield is going to the dividend payout. That's basically the idea of this whole thing, right? The only time that strategy would get into a bit of trouble is if it got down to about $8,000 for a Bitcoin, and I think most of us think that's pretty unlikely. And then, of course, they would have to try and refinance or equitize it. So that's something for the future. Now, I do know that Michael Saylor is going to try and equitize strategy moving forward. So I don't know, is the US government going to buy strategy when it reaches 1 million? We'll see what happens. I don't know. Lots of things could happen there. So yeah, it's the ultimate Bitcoin singularity, they say. Do you like that? Everyone likes that sort of language, don't they? So there's lots of opportunities here. And what we're seeing today also is that companies are starting to do ETPs, right? So they're starting to offer this make it easier to access for some people, might like ETPs. And so yeah, these it's pretty cool. And what we're also seeing, people take that and then also offer those to institutions, right? So the institutions getting access to this as well, both indirectly and directly. So I think it's just going to start booming, right? It's just started booming. We start getting derivative companies offering derivative products and making it easy to access to Stretch. So pretty awesome stuff. And obviously, there's more than just Stretch. Of course, we've got Stride, Strike, and Striff. So there's other preferred stock options there as well. Some of them, they all have different features to them. But Stretch is the one that's really causing a storm here. And man, it's going to be fun to see. Going to fee, right? So the dividend yield is that mechanism above strike the price to up or down. They can move that around to encourage price to stay around $100. That's kind of the idea there, and they can print money. So pretty awesome stuff there. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was pretty cool. Now, if you guys want to keep a track of it, I'll post the link in the chat there. And you can follow that on this specific site. There are a couple other sites like STRC.live and others like that, so you can check those out too. What else we got here? What else? We got Sean O'Malley says, "Hey, Superman, been told PrevX token is out. Why not? It's on testnet. I don't know if it's live yet. It's on testnet. We're going to talk about that later." Credit Station now said, getting a new notification on X that PrevX token may have been minted. Oh, is that right? So that could have happened now. We'll definitely check that out and see. Fat Sam says PrevX has just been minted and begun distribution. There we go. Well, it's good that I'm going to be talking about it today then, because that was a good time. I haven't talked about it for several days. Haha, snap. Nice BTC secret source, Superman, says Fat Sammy. Yeah, beautiful, right? Beautiful. And that's the link there if you want to track some of that stuff going on there. Awesome. So that is Bitcoin at the moment. We're at 71,532, and now we got this big whale buyer buying 10 times just on the Stretch. Doesn't include MSTR. I mean, that's probably another 30 times the Bitcoin mining yield that's coming out. OMG, what is happening here? And it's really hard to see it not continue, because it's basically vampiring traditional markets. The yield's almost twice as much, right? So, well, it's definitely twice as much depending on the bond market and stuff, or more, right? At 11%, 11.5%. So, it's probably 2.5 times. So it is. I don't know. I think there's a fundamental change happening in financial markets here, and it's not just Bitcoin going up in price or Ethereum going up in price. It is Michael Saylor there vampiring the whole credit market, and all on the back of Bitcoin. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It's a change in the monetary system, guys. And so we're going to continue to watch Stretch. Now, I think Stretch launched, I think it was about September last year, somewhere in that ballpark. But it's really, they've really focused the strategy from February onwards, and look at it go. Whoa. No wonder Michael Saylor was always there grinning on TV. You notice that? But they're always pressuring him. Oh, you got these unreal losses, because you're below 76K. Your average cost, and you're out of the money. Do you feel the pressure? And he's just sitting there laughing himself, silly. All right. So he says, not advised, but what do you think a good bag of Pulse to hodl? Oh, we talked about that the other day, didn't we, Crypto League? I think you asked about that the other day, and I answered that. So I'm pretty sure you were the one that asked that. So yeah, check that out. You're pretty sure I answered that for you the other day. All right. So that's pretty much it. The other big thing we've got going on is not just Bitcoin, but we've got a double play going on, right? We've got Ethereum, and we've got this is even bigger than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin doing store of value argument for when digital currency is in favor, also doing the vampiring of the private markets, money market, bond market, credit markets, but also we've got the whole financial markets being vampired by Bitmine emission. This is happening very fast and will happen very in quite big steps this year. So we've got some pretty mega forces sitting in behind all this stuff that a lot of people aren't aware of. And so Bitmine now has 1.2 million in cash. It's the short game, of course, but they could buy up to 600,000 in ETH, guys, at $2,000. Obviously, ETH is moving up here, $2,100 and $50 or something. But that's up to 600 ETH there, and they also probably raised more cash since that time. They also been doing an at the market strategy, but they have got staking, right? So ETH has staking and Bitcoin doesn't, right? So that is pretty powerful. So staking there, obviously adding a lot of income to this, and it's going to be significantly repriced probably very soon. We also got Maven coming out possibly before the end of March, and that's going to be pretty key. And I've talked many things about all the bullish things that are coming over with Bitmine immersion, right? But they, that would put them at 5.13 million ETH, 4.425% of the Ethereum supply there. Bitmine targeting 5%. Now, Tom Lee's also talked to about theoretical limits that they could go up to as a sovereign put, and then get revalued like MSTR, like MicroStrategy there. But they're going well beyond that, guys. These guys going institutional and retail adoption. We talk about mass adoption, both through Fundstrap and also through Mr. Beast, right? There's the big play going on. And of course, that's going to be fun to watch. So we're expecting some pretty big things to happen here. They're going to be pretty much advising and leading a lot of the institutions coming over to crypto, both with tokenization, stable coins, staking yields, all that sort of stuff. So keep a lookout for that. It is the other big play, and Tom Lee is leading that. So these are the two kings of the DATs, Michael Saylor of Strategy and Tom Lee of Bitmine Immersion. So those are the two names to think about. They control, at least operate about 90% of turnover. That's the key, right? Turnover, that's where big money comes in and out. That's where big money can be raised, and that's where these two are crushing it, right? So keep a lookout for that. It is the big play. So awesome stuff. Now that's going to lead us into Pulsechain. So let's move on from that. Some good stuff happening. And Pulsechain there, day 1036. We got a bit of a move on. Should we do a bit of clap? I think we should. Got a bit of move on there. Got a bit of a move on. But we've got Pulse right now. Pulse at the moment sitting at quadruple 106. Well, coming back to Crypto League, even though I'm pretty sure I answered this question to you the other day or somebody, we had, what's a lot of Pulse? Well, back when Pulse was at 0001, I would have said, 100 million Pulse is pretty good, right? 100 million Pulse. But now we're down we're 10x lower. I would say, a billion Pulse is pretty good, right? A billion Pulse would be pretty awesome. So that's kind of a good idea, a billion Pulse. Just get back to mean sacrifice price. So that's kind of the logic there. There's two ways of looking at it, right? The cost price of sacrifice. We had about 1,000 accounts that had about $1 billion, and they paid around about $85,000. Now you can pick that up for what, $10,000, $11,000. So you see that's the game changer, right? And you're basically getting all that sacrifice Pulse redistributed to you, right? Obviously, we have slight moderate inflation with the validators, particularly with the burn rates at the moment going through EIP 159. So we have all that sort of stuff going on. We will need a certain amount of volume and gas prices to start to get deflation on that. And that's another question. But Pulse at the moment, that's kind of the play. And I think that's probably a reasonable way of looking at it, right? So yeah, probably those two. Now, I still think 100 million Pulse is great. Obviously, if we 10x in 100 million place, that comes back into play. It's a bit like Bitcoin, right? How much Bitcoin should I get? Well, at a certain price, one Bitcoin's great. Get one Bitcoin, and that's all you'll need. These days, some people are starting to talk about just get 1/10 of a Bitcoin, right? 1/10 of Bitcoin. So it's kind of a little bit of that logic. PulseX at the moment is at 50771. Even better opportunity there because we've still got the 5 zeros and it's got the buy and burn and it's completely deflationary. And that is up 7.4% at the moment. And that is the buy and burn sitting at 8.65%. Ticking away there. INC at the moment just below 48 cents. That's up 9% today. And we've got Hex on Pulsechain. Now, Hex on Pulsechain has the smallest liquidity, so it's the easiest to pump. However, we've still had some, a decent size Hex holders, and we had a lot of Hex stakes coming out. Although many of them haven't been claimed. Maybe they'll just burn out. Who knows? Maybe they'll just burn out. I forgot about my big Hex stakes. I had millions of Hex, and it used to be worth a lot, and I just forgot about them, and it just burns out. Who knows? Who knows, right? So that's kind of the play there. We've got 2 cents of a penny right now, up almost 10%. And EHEX is the easiest one to move, right? But we have had a few sellers. That's the only thing. EHEX at the moment is at 00071, so back over the 7 mark there. And likewise, you can pick up tons of volumes at EHEX right at this price. Combined price of EX and PX is sitting at 2,700 of a penny. Pretty cool. Now, all these are Richard Hart core coins. So if you believe in the Magic Carp ride and all the sacrifice ETH eventually being used in favor and anything else Richard does, like applications or ProveX, for example, then this could all do pretty well. And obviously, apparently ProveX has been minted and is in distribution right now. So we've got nice green candles as well. So Pretty cool. Let's jump over quickly to the gas prices. We've got 900,000 beats, a little bit cheaper than yesterday, and that is at 0.3 of a penny. The validators right now is 52,500, so we're down about, what, 700 actually on the validators there. Wonder where that money's gone. Bridge at the moment up 71.2 almost, so we're up almost 700K. That's pretty exciting. I'm not sure if there's been anything over pulse alerts, but that was kind of cool. Now, let's jump over to Richard Hart quickly, because apparently I was going to just talk about ProveX anyway today, but apparently there's been a mint on. So let's see what we can see there, and we'll try and find that in the charts as well. And let's see, puts anything out about that. Nothing I can see there. Nothing. Yeah, we had the 6th of March, right? But now we've got the 13th. So I don't know whether there's official thing. Remember, always check, the official stuff, because, I haven't had the chance to check anything here. But let's have a look at the top performers at the moment. We got one token. This was that small sacrifice pool, I think, from Moon King and the guys. That's up 25%. I wasn't a big fan of it. Didn't like some of the features of that. We got Whale Bay up 20% at the moment. We got SCADA up 11%. We got Most Wanted, one of the meme coins there, up 11% as well. Remember, SCADA is related to Nuke the Supply project, very innovative project there. We got Hex on the move, though. Hex is leading out of the cause, up at 10.5%. We've also got World's Greatest Peter Print at number 5, up 10% as well. So there we go. And then not far behind that, we've got Peacock. Oh, Peacock's just hit 2 cents again. That's up 9%. And then we've got ALGO Hex Derivative up 9% there. Incentive token from Richard up 9%. A DAO token there up 9% as well. PDC the Greys, been doing a pretty good job, haven't they? So PDC the Greys have been doing, the new referral program, kicked off really in February. They're doing a lot of marketing and really are going for gold on that, doing some live streams, all that sort of stuff. So, a lot of cool things happening there. We got True Farm as well, really innovating in the DeFi space. I would call it kind of index buying and return. So they're really trying to do that. And that is up 7.9% as well with True Farm. So, PDC does kind of that sort of stuff, but through our peoples, from what I can tell. True Farm is doing it by direct investment, the old pooled investment, and that's up 7.87%. So they have their 2x miners, and now they have True Farm offering farming yields in partnership with pretty much Emmett, right? So that's pretty cool. Zero Trust there, tied into the old Peacock, up 7.73%, part of the trifecta. And then we've got 9mm there picking up as well, 7.6%. And 9mm has been doing, about 20K in distributions from profits, I think, every month. So it's ticking away there. If you've got the token holding 9mm, you sort of you can claim it every month. And they've also got the NFTs doing secondary revenue share. What else we got coming down here? 35 is remember the 5th of September, another OG Web Chef up 6.7%. Firewhale showing itself here, up 6% as well. Dominance from another OG Web Chef here, up 6%. So we've got a few OG Web Chefs on the move today, haven't we? A couple of them on the move. What else we got going there? Curve up 6%. We've got Top Hat. Top Hat was up a bit higher earlier, it's still up 6%. That's tied into Peacock as well from Crypto Coffee. A-Pine Pulse there up 5.8% there. Coffee Shop up 5.5%. Mafia token from Rack and Michelle is sitting just below 50 cents right now at 5%. What else? We got Pump Tires Die up 5% there. Liberty X up 4.5%. MoonX there up 4.5% there. Pump Fun from Pump Tires up 4.25%. It's not too bad. Let's have a quick look at Pump Tires, shall we? And let's see where that's looking. Let's go to the weekly, probably a bit easier. Weekly, they're still down on the weekly, but having a little bit of a green day today, coming off the bottom as well. So sitting just below 0.2 of a penny. Market cap 1.9 mil. We got Vouch too. Remember, Vouch got smashed the other day. Remember that? Vouch and what was the other one? 2 blue chips, right? Vouch and something else. I'm just trying to remember what the other one was. Vouch got smashed. Has it recovered? Not really. 4 zeros, 13.59. I'm not sure whether there was a key player that exited the system. What was going? A key player different. It sold down. You saw that red candle there. Look at that. It was, it doesn't take too much. I mean, liquidity is 79K. So it's still, even though it's probably number one valet, it's still a retail play, and that is down. So yeah, down 10K, hasn't really recovered with volume yet, but we'll keep a track of that. Number one validator. So I don't know whether whether that validator drop of 600 is related to Vouch or somebody else. I don't know. Let us know in the chat there if you have kept up to date with the validators. What's happening on there? Troper there from James Maria, up 4%. RSI oversold, sitting at number 60, up 4%. Go Pulse with the, a little controversial with the swapping fees, but we use it for price information. 3.8% right now. We got DAO token. So DAO token. What else did we saw up here? We saw way up the top here, didn't we? We saw DAO token up here too. So I don't know, maybe different pools there. Pulse Puppy at number 63, up 7.8%. Sun Minimal, supposed to be going to Solana every single day, but still here. That's up 3.7%, sitting at 5.6 cents. That was going to be our institutional rail to Europe. So I'm not sure what's happening there. That was supposed to be gone, I thought, but yeah. I found it hard to read the Deutsch lately. I mean, it's very hard. The videos are very long, but we'll try and get an update on that. We got BBC token. We're not going to talk too much about 9-inch. A bit of a Gomberger, that one. Gophers, the first 404 contract on Pulsechain, 3% there from Dipcatcher. Of course, the co-founder there of Maximus. So it's ticking away there at the moment. A Troper there as well. So we've got SolidX at the moment up 3%. Unity up 2.8%. UFO there as well. Ticking away. So we've got, a little bit of stuff going on there. OG WebChef down here at number 80. Sorry, not OG WebChef, James Maria Teddy Bear. So what we got down to about 89 coins are green right now. Everything else is red. For investors, red, down 10%. DevC had been really going for it, right? DevC had been having quite the rally. Look at that, quite the rally there. A little bit of profit taking there today. Not sure what's really been driving that. I mean, still liquidity 43K, but definitely something on there. All right, so let's have a look here. We got Crypto League says found it. Thanks. 1,000 sacrificed about $85,000 each. Got it. Yeah, 1 billion. Yeah. So yeah, well, you're getting it for 10th of the price now, right? 10th of the price. So that seems like a pretty good damn play. So that is the play there. I don't see this ProveX. Let's have a quick look now. Just because I'm looking at it, searching. Searching can be really bad and dangerous. But I don't see any token there at the moment. Let this quick search. That won't necessarily find it. I don't see the token there. You guys got to be careful if you don't like really live streaming tokens that I haven't we haven't vetted, especially official ones like ProveX. Yeah, let's see. I don't see anything there at the moment. Let's go to CryptoSolve. He's normally pretty reliable. 30 minutes ago. Also, because people are stupid, don't interact with the tokens that appear in your wallet until the launch has been officially confirmed by Richard Hart. That's right. So what was the first thing I did? I looked at Richard Hart, right? So very important there. Looks like this is possibly not safe. So just take note there. What else? The Fat Sammy says ProveX has just been launched on the blockchain. No value LP pools, says Fat Sammy. So it looks like we may have it in process, but once again, it is good to wait for Richard Hart. And I'm very cautious about promoting stuff that's not legit. That's why I don't really like doing it. But we're having a quick there, so just take that as a big caveat. We've got CryptoSolve here, looking at the token. Reminder that the ProveX token function has contract functions that keep it at zero value for however long is determined appropriate. There's no value to being able to front run this info. Yeah, so that is some of the updates there. I guess we'll give it a few little hearts since we're reading it out live. ProveX there, minted. We've got a little chart here. We'll have a quick look at that. Normally not good to click on links that you're not familiar with, but CryptoSolve is pretty good, so we'll go for gold there. Looks about right? ProveX. So it's got the contract 92.6A. Remember, wait till it gets verified and the LP pools are up. But it does look like if this is legit, if this is the one, then it's possibly in process, right? Yeah, we'll keep a lookout for that. We'll copy that one. What else have we got going? Also, because people are stupid, don't interact with tokens that appear in your wallet until the launch has officially been confirmed. 100%, right? You don't want to get drained your wallet or anything like that. Wait for Richard Hart. Don't trust, verify. Yeah, true. All right, so that is a kind of the play there. We don't see anything from Richard Hart quite yet, so just be careful, guys. Don't FOMO and lose everything. And always, hopefully you guys, if you have participated in it or you're trying to buy it up early, just take note of all those risks and use a DGen wallet, right? So you're not crying later. All right. All right. So now I'm not even pasting the contract in the chat there because you've got to go do your own due diligence and all that good stuff. So that is the play on that one. So yeah, that is the markets right now. So we've got a bit of a green day, got a bit of excitement. And I guess, let's go back to wrap Pulse here, shall we? We're going to wrap Pulse and wrap Pulse. And let's have a look here with the chart. So this is pretty exciting. If we do start running up, remember it gets very hard to get volume. Remember that. So if we do start running up in price, and the chart has been looking pretty positive, and if we do get the ProofX thing being a general sentiment uplift, which we did see actually when Richard announced the testnet one, there was a whole sentiment change going on in the community and a bit more bubbly stuff. We have had some more big influencers getting attracted to Pulsechain as well, like Jaina recently, with what she got 200 maybe close to 250,000 followers or something like that. So we are getting some attention. It's always good early signs. But at the moment, we've come off the bottom there. This is the weekly candles on Pulse. We were down at 7,800. We're now at 1,073. We have been fighting this zero. You can see that sort of up and down. But we are holding above the 21 moving average on the daily, guys. And that was essentially exactly at 1,000. No, not exactly, but 1,012. And with 4 zeros, right? So we've powered off that. That's a really bullish sign, right? Powering off the 21 moving average. And then we've got ProofX, possibly in the process of rolling out. Once again, very important to wait for official links. I know that some people will take the risks on themselves, trying to front run if they do see the token pop up, trying to get some large volume, but that may not necessarily play in your favor. So just be careful out there. And there are charlatans, there are scammers out there trying to trick people. So be careful out there. All right. All right. So there we are, looking pretty good with Pulse. And what else are we going to say? I just wanted to, so we're getting a uplift, 6%, 6.3%. So anything on Pulsechain right now that's above 6%, and if we look at our trending again, anything above 6%, 6.6, which is how many? Let's go scroll down here. So 44 coins now doing better than equal to or better than Pulse. So not bad. Even Peacock there leading the way there. Peacock there up 10%. Yeah. So we're pretty close to breakout on the old Peacock, aren't we? Pretty close to breakout. And they've got the big ZKX wallet coming. Look at that. It's pretty close. Like it's really fighting there. It's above all the averages. Looking good for it though. It's not looking good for it. And on the weekly RSI, plenty of room to move. So we'll keep a lookout for that. The old Peacock there. Kind of cool. All right. I thought we were going to have a full-on live ProofX there by accident. I didn't even know it. I was going to cover it. Funny that I was going to cover it today because I hadn't really covered it for several days. I thought, we should talk a bit about ProofX, and there we go. Pretty hilarious. All right, now if you guys haven't joined Strategy Club, you love getting all the intel. Then I'm passing it through Strategy Club all day as I'm researching, as I'm finding stuff. Really great education, really great insights into the bull market ahead. Also focusing, zooming in on the real quality assets to minimize risk and maximize upside. Then definitely consider joining Strategy Club. The QR code's just below me in the video there, but you can also find the links in the video on YouTube and also pinned to the top of X, right? So if you go at the top of my X profile, you'll be able to see Strategy Club up there. So join Strategy Club. And you go through the Whoop store, sign up. It's just over $1 a day. Really great value and really well priced there. So join up and we'll see you in Strategy Club for sure. All right. Exciting stuff, man. Are we really starting to get some moves here? Let's quickly go. And I'm going to do a whole video on this, but let's quickly go through well, maybe we might get some more ProofX information. We're still, got a little bit more time left in the live stream, up to an hour now. But we've got the Rich Hart cores looking really good, right? At the moment. So Rich Hart cores, we've got PTC the Grey as the first DAO token, looking really quite kind of good. They've each got pros and cons to them, so I don't want to mitigate that. As you guys know, every project has its pros and cons. Some of them have way more pros than cons, if you know what I mean. But we've got that. We also got some of the meme coins doing kind of well. The DAO tokens showing a bit of life in it. Peacock course is a utility meme coin, probably the best candidate by far. That's going to end up being our the meme coin. If we're going to have a meme coin get to $1 billion, Peacock's probably the best candidate. There's a lot of things that will be required for that to happen. But that is definitely probably the best candidate there. We've got obviously the Richard cores. So I took the Richard cores talked about the PDC, talked about Peacock, fronting at the frontier of privacy, intent trading, off market, on market liquidity. They're moving towards unified liquidity across chain. They've got their ZK wallet. They're going to be making privacy wallets really accessible to the general people through a hybrid wallet. They've got lending coming and lots of other DeFis they can just hook in. It's going to be the absolute juggernaut on Pulsechain from that. So, and then it looks like they're going to probably lead into some big marketing stuff. They keep teasing that marketing out, and they always do what they say. So we're looking forward to that. And probably the biggest thing in some ways is also getting verified on CoinMarketCap to get re-rated on market cap and not 24-hour volume, which would move them up into the top 1,000, probably top 800 protocols. So we're keeping a lookout for that, and that'd be a big re-rate, right? Well on its way to that top 50 mark, and maybe it could end up being one of the top 5 or 6 meme coins. $1 billion. We'll see. There's quite a few variables needed to that, but definitely a good candidate. And put Pulsechain on the map, right? Put Pulsechain on the map. We also got Pepe in here at the moment, showing up as a bit of a meme coin there. And what else is looking pretty top tier? 90mm is kind of top tier as well. Obviously, as Pulsechain keeps going up, 90mm is the second biggest DEX. We only have really 2 main DEXs, and 90mm which should get repriced quite dramatically there as well. Super cheap right now, right? Super cheap. And that would increase their fees quite a lot, right? So we're down at the bottom here. If we look at the pulse ratio, it's not too bad. It's just had been in a nice range, just grinding down. There's the weekly candles, just grinding down a little bit there at 490 pulse per 9mm. What else we got going down here? Just scrolling down some of these. Vouch course number 1 valid, although seeing some unusual selling down, but that can be temporary, can be a couple one-off players. But Vouch there number 1 valid is certainly kind of a blue chip type of thing, but certainly had some interesting behavior recently. We've seen it 2 or 3 times now on Vouch with a large player and how that impacts the system a little bit. So yeah, definitely interesting. What else? UFO, of course, like PDC, kind of related to each other there. The James Maria stuff, of course, they seem to be able to turn on some of the mechanisms there, just like OG WebChef got the kind of those 2 wildcards with James Maria and OG WebChef doing their little thing. Suddenly they pop out at the top, remember, every so often, particularly on down days. They seem to, those tokens always seem to pump back up there. So, definitely they got their hands, and, they know the market's at the bottom, so we'll see what happens there as well. So those are some of the ones that are kind of stand out on this list. So we'll keep a lookout for that right now. But yeah, look at that one of the sacrifice pools there from B Roots, I think it was, is, and Ian Heinisch up 28% right now. Very small liquidity, 42k, volume only 2,500, 2,700. So it's a very small play there. But of course, a beneficiary of one of the sacrifice pools. What was the wallet number? Number 30 or 40 or something? I don't know. Something like that. All right, let's see whether we can find Richard Hart. See whether he's announcing anything. I'm trying to hold off here just to see whether we got a little bit of setup here. Yeah, nothing really showing up, but I would definitely keep a close lookout for Richard Hart or I mean, you can decide who you trust in the Pulsechain, but Richard Hart is the one launching it. So just take note of that. And I don't think I put the contract in. I don't think it's showing up yet. Yeah. So not really ready to go, but certainly something that may end up launching today. So keep a lookout for it. I'm not going to continue on live streaming anymore. We've got a great crowd watching, but it's not up and running. And remember, just be very careful with these big launches like this. But hopefully it helps to continue to lift the sentiment. Hex is certainly liking it. There. Up 14%. We still have that whale. I think he still had like 12 million Hex. I mean, he sold down a little bit, but apart from that, we're back up on 21. And Hex also has the smallest liquidity, right? Has the smallest liquidity there. In fact, let's quickly go look at that. It'll be the last topic I do. Pulse. Actually, we'll ignore that. Actually, time being, we'll go look at that tomorrow. But Hex definitely got smallest liquidity, so can move a lot there, and is one of the top performers right now. So market seem to be picking that up. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. Now in 5 minutes, not too bad, right? Not too bad today. Went through a lot of great stuff, a bit of secret sauce there too. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage there of the stock market, economic news, a little bit on geopolitics, how that plays in. We covered Bitcoin and ETH, which are on the move, and the two powerful DATs that are changing the game and becoming a dominant money printer, pumping up those things. And so, it is exciting times, isn't it? And then a Pulsechain on the move, possibly ProveX in the launch process. Once again, make sure you go to official links with Richard Hart. But exciting times ahead for sure. And even Hex is on the move. That's always a positive. But seeing Pulse back to 4 zeros, let's hope, it's got to leave it eventually, right? So, there's your chance to buy big volumes, but we've got to let that go at some stage, right? Where we start getting appreciation and on the uptrend. And then you can cry about it. If you didn't buy down at the bottom, you can cry about it later on. That's the thing, right? That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Don't be that guy who sold his Hex. Remember that guy? Sold it, my Hex, man. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Take care, and I'll catch you on tomorrow's show. I may do a second show today. You guys know I have been doing a couple of shows a day these days, and probably I might do it on ProveX if it does come out official. Then I'll probably do another live stream later on. Until then, I'll either see you later today or tomorrow. And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, smash the follow on X, and really help the channel. You guys know, largest daily show, essentially doing daily shows again. In fact, I've been doing 2 or 3. I had to have a little gap between moving and all sorts of other stuff that went on, but we seem to be back to regular shows again, which is great. All right, take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Happy Pulsechain. Happy Pulsechain Day. All right, see ya.